Hello and welcome to GJSMP. Today we are just taking it easy. I'm not going to build too much, and we're going to go do some fun things instead of really intense things. All right, let's do this properly. Oh, they're mad. There we are. Oh dear. There we go. That wasn't so bad. All right, now I think I'm ready to actually explore the end. At least I think my internet will be able to handle it. Thanks to Voxy, I can still see that. Neat. Okay, I turned around to get some blocks and I didn't realize there was an end city right there. Looks like a pretty small one. Let's see if we get any closer. You know, it's funny, I brought stone, but I realized that I didn't want to put a bunch of stone down. Not that the 1 block wide bridges are much better. Okay, let's see. Yeah, basically empty. Being said, it looks like there's another portal over there. And I might be able to get some shulker boxes at least. Now it is I who... Alright, we got another city coming into view. Ooh, pretty big. Does it have a ship? Come on. Come on. Yeah! I do need to get over there. I don't like this. I feel like I shouldn't have put Swift Sneak on because it makes me really nervous when I'm moving too quickly. Makes me feel like I'm not actually sneaking. Oh, come on. Oh, it's stressful. All right. So I'm going to be honest. I'm going to skip this for now, and then I'm going to... Oh, is that seriously... Directly over the void? I'd rather just save it in case I end up dying here, but... Enderman, could you be literally anywhere else right now? What do you want, man? You little... No, that's not going to last long enough. I thought about it. Oh, right. I forgot about that. We have to actually get blocks. Okay. Okay, alright. We're having fun. I can't believe that worked. Okay, we're almost there. Let's just do this. And there we go. Why is it not? Oh, well, never mind. I'm gonna clear the rest of this just so I can get some shulker boxes. And I guess that's gonna have to be good enough. All right, and continuing my chill, not doing much follow-up to all of that, I have my fully enchanted wings. I have 3 stacks of rockets. And I'm just going to fly around and map out the world. And we'll see if I find anything interesting. Okay, I haven't been saying much because of technical issues and because there hasn't really been much to say, but like... I just found this near the world border. It's... This is officially the smallest mushroom island that's ever existed. This showed up like right along the left side as I was flying. I saw the first one, I was like, oh, that's cool. And the second one, I was like, oh, wow. And the third one, and then the fourth one, and then the 5th one. What? It just like keeps going. It wraps around here, it looks like. I mean, wow, look at that. That's like a proper wall. I had to stop again just to show. This whole terrain is like falling apart and naturally has floating islands. Wait, this is some serious... It looks like amplified. So I've flown back over these mountains. I'm now on the other side. And this is what was going on in the interior. This would just be perfect for a base. I mean, just look at that, like the hidden flower meadow. So oddly enough, on the entire server, this is still one of the tallest mountains. I think there might be a couple that get above this, but this is actually one of the highest peaks. All right, and that is the entire server. Like, you know, just some interesting things here. So over there is an entire ice field, essentially. There's another one over there somewhere. Those are all my favorite peaks. The ones that just kind of kept going and formed a wall, which I think there contained a nice little grove. There's all sorts of tall, broken up terrain, floating islands. I know that there's the one block of mushroom over there, and then another mushroom island, I think, over there somewhere. And of course, with everything loaded in, I get a full perspective on everyone's bases, as well as spawn. As you can see, there's been some additions to spawn, so let's head back down here and explain. Like I said, I'm taking it easy, and I'm trying not to be too intense with whatever I'm building, so this is a rocket stand built by Obzi to allow people to easily restock. We do have a gunpowder farm now, thanks to one of the other players. And because Obzi has expanded the trading, her personal trading hall into an entire operation, we felt the need to put another path leading this way. Which, honestly, I mean, now that we have wings, it's kind of obsolete. But I also think it looks nicer because I was able to, well, I have free cam, but regardless, I was able to fly up and actually map it out from above. And that will be in theme for these next couple parts, where I think I'm just gonna... So, real quick, just talking to camera moment here. I had planned on being done with Spawn Town now-ish. Maybe rather by the time this episode comes out. I would have built everything that I wanted to. But I just keep getting ideas for this area. And not only that, but like some of the other larger builds that I had planned are just taking longer. So I think we're actually going to be around here for longer than I originally planned. Not that long. I do have some other... Essentially, once we're done here, I have some other... Maybe I would just call them mega projects. For example, and this is just kind of a, sort of breaking the fourth wall here and just telling you, I'm gonna completely redo the end. At least the main island. And there's some other things that I'm going to hide here and there. I say hide. Another issue I've been running into is that I am not going to point to it directly because I don't want to fully break the illusion, but I've been doing a lot of stuff off camera. That's not just like, oh, I do a little off camera mining. No, I mean like I've been doing entire builds that just serve as background for other stuff. And like that is not good for me. I really need to get, a video out of the stuff that I do. Otherwise, the video itself takes forever. that was part of, I think, the various working problems leading up to this, where this is the first time in a while that like the entire build process was fully on screen. It wasn't, I didn't just build something basically for a bit off screen, which is all to say, I'm going to be in Spawn for a bit longer. And while I'm here, I'm also going to be working on some of the other stuff I've hinted at. And I'm going to be doing that a bit more on camera rather than off camera, because I don't think doing it off camera is sustainable anymore. A lot of this season is, it's a learning process. These are among the first Minecraft videos I've made, not the first, but I've not done anything at this scale. All right, but I'm going to get to work on connecting these last couple builds with paths. And we're going to see if I can maybe get a general layout in mind for the rest of Spawn. Because I know there's a few things we need. We need a vault to hold a lot of emeralds and backup gear in case anyone dies in lava or whatever. Having a stables would be nice. We do have a lot of horses just kind of out and about. The farm needs some improvements. I still have not made that road all the way over there. So yeah, we have plenty of work to do in Spawn. All right, we got another storm, both in-game and in real life. So I'm going to try and make this quick before my internet inevitably gets knocked out again. I have laid out 3 different parts of town. I don't know what exactly each of these is going to be yet, but I have essentially laid out this road here, which connects to the crypt and the inn with a little, half a dozen buildings. I have this road connection here with 3 to 4-ish buildings with little corner spaces like this and this. I think I'm probably going to put something that's not a building there, maybe like a miniature park or a garden or something like that. And this one over here, which is the least set in stone, is... I think we're just going to confidently declare this the shopping area, because there's already 2 carts over here. There's the bookstore right here, and these spaces are pretty big. I meant to put a third space here. But, there's 3 spaces here that are all pretty large. So, in each of these, I'm going to put a mixture of quote-unquote shops. We don't have an economy on this server. It's just, entirely communal. But, I can still build a shop because it looks nice. I'm gonna put up that vault, like I mentioned. And I'm also going to put up some housing because we have a lot of villagers throughout here. And I think I commented on this fairly early on, but... Sorry, there was just a lightning strike outside. Is it better that they're not completely in just, slots in a trading hall, or is it actually worse that they have a bit of space, but it's still just a market stand? So I'm going to put some houses up and pretend like it's theirs. That being said, I'm not sure I'm getting to any of this episode. This is a lot of planning and not doing much episode. I have loose estimate, like, maybe between 4 and 6 episodes left in Spawn. Oh, great. This is what I needed in my escape from reality. More lightning. Anyway, I'm thinking every episode, or maybe every 2 episodes, I'm going to try and fully complete one of these districts. That way, I'm getting a variety of builds in, and I'm not overextending myself. And I'm also letting each build breathe. All right, so I think I've got what build I'm going to make to end the episode. Graveyard. So obviously we already have the crypt. But that's a whole contained thing, and I don't know if it's going to expand out into basically a dungeon. So I would like some surface representation of death. If I want this place to feel realistic, I also think it's reasonable to, have a place where people would put bodies. A lot of the builds that I was planning for after spawn are on the creepy end, and since I'm going to be in spawn for a bit longer, I'm going to build something a little creepy to tide me over. Now, I know I said previously that I don't really find graveyards that scary in concept, but I could make this one a little spooky. All right, well, we'll find out. We start over here and run along the path to a big area like this. Filled up with all sorts of twisted trees, toppled gravestones, that sort of thing. I think much like the rest of the town, I'm going to design it in sections. So there will be maybe a newer section, an older section. I think while I'm at it, I might age this a bit. This is a thing that's probably going to happen to all the builds while I'm in my second phase of working on spawn. But this is a little flat, partially because it's mostly the same blocks. And so by aging it, I can add a little visual variety. So in the same way that I already did for the floors and for the wall. So I'm going to get to work on this, and I'm going to come back when I start actually implementing ideas. I decided the terrain here didn't fit. I wanted people to walk up a hill as soon as they enter, just based on an experience I had with a really old graveyard. So I've made an outline of a hill here. I'm going to fill in the gaps, and I'm probably going to fill in the terrain underneath just because we have a lot of ground blocks to spare. Unless I want to hide something creepy under here. All right, I'd say that works. I don't know if I'm going to stick with stone slabs. I just needed something to demonstrate how this path is going to work. So there's a bit of a trench here. I guess we'll say maybe it got compressed over years of use, or maybe the other graves just got built up around it. I haven't actually put any of the graves in yet. I think I'm going to say this was founded by someone putting a grave on this hill, and then it's spread out from here. So the older ones will be up here, and the newer ones will be down here, which is just going to inform what blocks I'm using. I'm probably going to put a custom tree up here as well. Yeah, just a quick terrain adjustment. All right, the audio is going to sound a little different because I'm recording in a different location now, but I have added the centerpiece of the graveyard, a tree. What kind of tree? I don't know. It's mostly growing in one direction and the leaves seem to be falling down, so I guess maybe a willow, but probably not. Anyway, I just wanted to make my own version of a pale oak tree and to have at least one other custom tree. There's going to be quite a few more throughout here. Still figuring out how I want to do that. This, as you could tell, is kind of meant to be an old, somewhat withered tree. Now, the next step is figuring out gravestones. So I know I want the top of this to be the older part, and in my mind, grave was put there, tree was planted, and as it has grown, the headstone has been pushed all the way over here. Whereas the body itself is probably somewhere underneath, but that doesn't matter. So I'm going to get to work on that. We'll see what I come up with. All right, this is pretty much exactly what I was thinking. So if you're starting from down here, the path is nice, well carved, but as you get up, it starts to crumble a bit, and then starts to become overgrown. Up here, you have the gravestones that have been toppled and kind of, get rid of that, honestly, tossed aside by the tree here as it grew up. On the second layer, you have other old weathered gravestones that have fallen over on their own or are starting to crumble. I imagine that you could read these with some effort, whereas with this, you probably don't know what was on it anymore. At this level, you have old gravestones, but not ones that are particularly worn down. As you can see, I kind of just went with, classic 2 blocks, 2 stairs, signify kind of really basic arch, and then iterated off of that to make them fall apart. These, I'm picturing more like those tiny squares they put in, like the really understated headstones, usually when there's a lot of graves next to each other. And then on this level, they are mostly put together. There's some signs of weathering, cracks forming here and there, but they are pretty much fine. And we only really had room for 4 on this level, so yeah, here they are. I am planning maybe doing a little event with a couple of the other players, but we'll see. So now I just need to put some plant life in here, see where I can fit some lighting, and probably surround this with a somewhat crumbling fence. I picture they probably put a fence up when this property was initially set aside, but since then nobody's really bothered to maintain it, and it's basically a public space anyway, so why would they keep a fence up? I'm imagining people are just walking through here a lot. Well, I guess it would depend on the local culture, but we'll figure that out later. All right, that's the border wall complete. You can see it's a bit better maintained on this side, only a few gaps, but as you make your way around, the gaps increase and the parts with actual fence decrease. Because again, who's really going to maintain this? I can't imagine anyone was buried here that recently. Although, who knows, that might change. I had very simple lanterns, just on a chain, because it looked slightly better than iron bars. This looks better at night. The idea is that you'll see these and you won't really care about what's going on underneath. I'm not sure about the flowers. I'm thinking of replacing them with eye blossoms, but I didn't actually pick any up the last time I flew over a pale oak forest, so that might be a later thing. I did, as promised, weather this with a few cracked stone bricks and cobblestone. I didn't want to add too many non-stone brick blocks just because I didn't want to make it look like it was going to be falling in, but I think it's definitely picked up some cracks. And so I think with that, we've reached the end of the episode. Next time, I'm going to start hitting one of these districts, and I'm going to start putting in some more custom trees. Oh no. I forgot I wasn't wearing a pumpkin. I spent too much time in the end. Oh my god. This is a fitting place for this to happen. Anyway, see you next time.